Hello, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you might be. Uh,
Hello,
from
hello.
from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm Joe Bardine. I'm the communications director for People Unlimited and RadFest. Here with James Strole, the director of People Unlimited and RadFest, and the author of the Gospel of Longevity.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to our online book launch. We're really excited to have you. It's really fun to see so many people we know and people we don't know. So we had an in-person launch party here in Scottsdale, I want to say about a month ago or a month and a half ago, and that was a real party. And this is going to be a party as well. So I'll let you know what's happening. First, I'm going to do what I'm doing right now, which is a brief introduction. We're going to do some Q&A with the author, James Strole. Are you ready for that, James?
I'm ready.
Okay. James is going to read a portion of the book, and then we're going to open it up for comments. So this is really a long overdue conversation in the longevity community about really psychology and spirituality as a force for longevity.
Yeah.
So, I want to say about 10 years ago or 11 years ago, we started RADFest, Revolution Against Aging and Death conference, because we felt like, along with some great people who supported us, because we felt like that was needed.
Yeah.
Right? We felt like people needed a conference where they could go to learn what to do for their longevity in an environment that was for the general public, right? And fun. And some of you were skeptical then. You remember? You were skeptical. You're like, what's the connection between fun and longevity?
Fun and longevity. Music and longevity, arts and longevity. Yeah.
Right. But, a lot of you come around. Maybe some of you never did. That's okay. And then some of you are skeptical about the gospel of longevity. But
understood.
But 10 or 11 years ago, we felt like there was a gap that needed to be filled. And now we feel like we're addressing a critical gap.
Yeah, another big gap.
That we've identified now. Yeah. So I've got to get my computer off of sleep mode here. Yeah, so we feel like this book addresses a missing element in the longevity equation. It's been a little controversial.
Yeah.
Right? We've some people
quite a bit actually.
Yeah, quite a bit. Some people love what this book is about, and some people have questions.
Yeah.
And we want to hear those questions from you tonight.
We do.
We're not afraid of those questions, but we don't want you to be afraid either.
That's right.
As part of the beauty of really opening to longevities, we're opening to everything that can enhance our life, and we're not limiting ourselves.
We're about what works, not what has to be, anybody being right or wrong. It's about what works.
Right. And so this book combines science and spirituality for the purpose of longevity. I want to just read you this great testimony. This is what Ray Kurzweil says about the book, and I love this. He calls it a soul-stirring perspective that brings together science and spirituality for everyone excited about the singularity and longevity escape velocity. And I love this insight that Ray has about this book. It covers the crucial issue that we will need to know how to navigate the enormous intellect we will have when we merge artificial intelligence with our biological mind.
Yeah, wow.
And that's so great to think just beyond just the current moment. And something you've talked a lot about is real sustainability.
Exactly.
How to really make ourselves sustainable for the long term. So great. Well, let's cover some questions.
Let's get into it, and then we can then I'll read a bit of the chapter, and then we could do some Q&A and have people just talk freely about what they feel about this. Because like Joe said, I'm not here to protect anything. I want what's real for me and everyone. I want what works. I want sustainability for all of us. I want resilience. I think that's what it takes to live unlimited lifespans. And I think we need a new resilience, new strength that will take us the distance. So that's what this is about. So I'm open for any critiques, anything anybody has to say. And this is an ongoing conversation. to me. I mean, I'm introducing what I've experienced here, and even in People Unlimited, we're building on it all the time. So I'm inviting you to build up on it, or challenge what I'm saying. It's all great. We want to find out what's real, right? So let's do it.
And I mean, don't judge the book by its cover, but if you like the cover, buy the book.
Exactly.
So first question, James, like what moved you to write this book?
Well, I had an experience that was profound for me. I've been, as most people know, I've been working in this field for over 50 years, and I'll say it was been a wonderful adventure. But then about 4 years ago, I had an experience and of a change. I felt in my person that there needed to be something more. Wasn't feeling bad. I had good health. I was seen a lot of challenges in all of our lives during COVID, and I began to feel like, oh, there's got to be something more, something that will give us more strength and resilience to walk this path. And so I began to have a soul searching in that, and had a very deep experience in it that was unexpected, actually. And I was very stirred though about it. And then I decided, I came to you and talked to you about it, of course, Joe. And we decided to write a book together on it. And at the same time, I met Mark Victor Hansen here in town, who's a publisher and who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Right.
And he read the book and said, oh, you said you need to get this out.
Yeah.
And so, but I felt that already. And I felt it's a component that we need in our community. And I think, yes, that was my passion to do it, just to share this information and to build up on it and give all of us an opportunity to explore an arena that we don't explore that often. That's our soul.
Right.
The soul of us and what that really means, and how important it is, I think, to the infrastructure of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're talking about the soul of the body.
That's right, the soul of the body.
Not the soul that replaces the body.
Exactly.
The soul that enlivens
exactly.
The body.
That's right.
Yeah. And so you actually so the book isn't just some ideas. It's really describes an experience you had. What was the experience?
Exactly. Well, okay.
You can tell brief.
Then they won't read the book. No. No. Well, briefly, it was like I said, I was having a soul searching, and I been going on for a couple of weeks. And when you have something like that, it never stops. You're not in control of you're feeling something. You're not always in touch with exactly what it is, but you just know there needs to be something more, something different in your life. And so one night I decided to take a little break and watch a movie, because I just wanted to get a little rest from this continuous stirring up in my brain. And so I started flicking through Netflix to look for a movie, and I came across The Chosen, which is a story about Jesus. And I thought at first, I don't know if I want to watch this. Oh,
somebody else talking. So I don't know what's.
Everybody needs to mute. Okay, mute. Okay, yeah, that's great. So I started looking at what this movie was about, reading the details on it. It was a series that's crowdfunded about the story of Jesus. First, I thought, well, I didn't really want to watch it. I'm not a religious person per se. I am spiritual, but I didn't think I really wanted to watch it at first. But then as I read about it, I did always have a connection with Jesus from a young age. But then I didn't identify totally how religion identified with him. So, but I decided to watch it because it looked like it would be interesting, a more factual story about him. So as I started to watch it, sure enough, it was, well done. The cinematography was great. The actors were doing a good job. And then when Jesus came on, his first scene where he went to speak to Mary Magdalene at a brothel, he spoke to her and called her name. And just calling her name, the energy from that. And he didn't know her per se. She didn't know him, but he called her out. And it impacted her body. It impacted her physically, And at that very same time, it impacted me. I was laying there watching this, and I felt energy go all through my body. And I thought, whoa, what is this? And as I began to keep watching, that energy just increased. Every time this actor, Jonathan Romy, who was playing Jesus, would speak these words. And it shows that there's power in words. And I think those words have been you might say, progressive through the years. It's been transferred through the energy, you might say, of the existence of Jesus, and it's in our body. And so he was speaking of, and so this particular scene, like I said, he called out Mary Magdalene, and it shifted her, it changed her life. And as I watched this, the more, and listened to him, the more energy I felt in my person. So I thought, wow, this really feels good. I don't know if this is everything that I was wanting, but it felt really good. It felt like a burden kind of left my shoulders, because I've been kind of carrying that, a burden on me, concerned about people I love, seeing what all was happening through the COVID era, seeing people pass, losing people from one reason or another. But that burden began to lift out of my body. I thought, well, this feels good. I'm just going to enjoy it. And by morning it might be gone, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Well, in the morning when I woke up, it was even stronger in my body. And the short story is, it's gotten stronger ever since. I totally watched the whole series.
But it's not really about the series.
No, it's not about the series. No, it's not really about the series. The series is what it is.
Right.
It could have happened in any, but it is about the words of Jesus.
Uh-huh.
All right. And I happened to get it that way. I had no idea that would happen that way, but it was very physical for me. I feel like I went from here to over here in my life. I completely changed in my person. And not that I was, bad or good before. I was what I was, and I was happy with things I was doing. But again, I knew there was something more from me. And yes, so.
Well, just in terms of the change, because I know you've gone through a lot of changes. I've seen them. Just in terms of changes that sort of apply to longevity, what would you say are some of the greatest longevity related?
This is the thing. I began to feel like I wanted a new strength and resilience. Mm-hmm. At that time, also, Bernie was very sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She had had cancer for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And she'd gotten COVID and lost her appetite. Yeah. Up until then, she was doing really good.
Yeah.
But we were having to face that. And I don't think I would have been able to handle the death of Bernie, because I was so close to her had I not had this experience.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about. We're going to have a lot to handle through our lives here, especially if we're going to live a long time, an unlimited lifespan. And we're going to have a lot to face. And I didn't know myself if I had it. I don't know if any of us have it, unless we have something supernatural almost in our bodies to do it. All right. So I had that change. And since then, I've had a new strength, a new resilience, a new health. Mm-hmm. And I went to People Unlimited, and I started speaking this to all of them. And of course, they thought, oh, where are you going with this? Like maybe some of you are thinking while you're listening to me, where is he going? Has he become real religious? And that answer to that is no. Has he become, is he going down just a Jesus follower per se? No, it's more than that. It's about taking on the very lineage of who Jesus was, what he implanted there, what he did. I think Jesus was like the Roger Bannister of immortality. He broke the barrier. He's the first one to actually really received his flesh, his human body as divine. And he wanted that for everybody. This wasn't for him. He didn't want followers. He didn't want people just, running after him per se. He wanted them to experience the very same substance that he was experiencing, the very same depth that he was experiencing. He told his disciples they could do everything he could, but they didn't believe it. And but this is where I am at this point. After 4 years, now over 4 years, I'm better than ever. I have the energy I never had before, and I always had good energy. But mainly, it's a deep soul energy. It's a deep resilience, a deep strength to face anything I as a human being needs to face. What doesn't mean I won't experience something in my life, and I already have, but I'll have the strength and resilience to get through it. And that's so important for all of us. That's why I think this is so important for longevity, for all of us longevity enthusiasts who really want to live.
So great job.
Thank you.
You talked about a lot in a short period of time.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And you've probably given a lot of people reasons to engage, and you probably pushed some people's buttons.
I have.
Right?
I have.
Words like gospel, and actually Jesus is probably one of the more loaded.
Yeah. Why did you use the word gospel? Yeah. It's a religious term.
And we know already, because of the controversy that's around this book, we know that some people are really uncomfortable with that terminology.
Yes. And I understand.
And I guess the question is, if it makes some people uncomfortable, why use it?
Well, because it's what's real. I mean, I'm going to speak what I really feel that's real. I have respect for the Christian world. I have several really good Christian friends. But I don't think the Christian world per se owns Jesus per se.
Right.
In fact, Christianity came along quite some time after Jesus.
He was Jewish.
And he was Jewish. And he was really, to me, my perspective is he was a human being, just like us, but again, unlike us, because he actually experienced the divinity of his body, and this is what I think all of us need to do. It's in us. It's in us to experience, and that's what this lineage is about. And when we have that, everything else will work better. The science, everything we do,
right.
and we'll be able to expand our agendas with more energy and strength.
Yeah.
The funding that needs to be done to our top scientists and so forth. Everything we need to accomplish, we'll have the strength and resilience, and the veil is lifted too. We'll be compassionate to every human being on the planet, not be warring with them, but including them, no matter what their belief system is, no matter what their background is. This is what's in my soul now. Before I would struggle with people and before this all happened and sometimes want to shake them and kind of almost battle with them to see my point of view. Now it's none of that anymore. I'm not out to convince anybody of anything. I'm sharing what I am and what I feel. And now it's like whosoever will that wants to partake of this. Right. And it's a magnificent thing because together in this we can create a world that we've never seen before. And I call it heaven on earth.
Yeah, beautiful. And one thing we talked about before this broadcast was the soul.
Yes.
And the soul of the body, and how some people are so uncomfortable with this word.
Yes.
Soul. Really, it's because of experiences that they've had with institutionalized religion.
Well, there's a lot of trauma around all of it, around different words, around Jesus. Some people see it that I've talked to, have seen the name of Jesus as something that was like guilt, that connected to guilt, connected to fear, connected to persecution, some level, the crucifixion, all these things. I don't think the crucifixion, was the key thing of Jesus's life. I think it was his life itself, and that's what's being missed. It was his life that we should be adoring, that we should be honoring. For somebody to die for your sins, who wants anybody, and should anybody die for anybody's sins? In fact, Jesus said, why did he say he's the end of sacrifice when he came? And that he was the end of sacrifice, that we weren't to have sacrifice anymore. And yet, because of the belief systems at that time, and he was the problem, he was upsetting the status quo, they turned around and sacrificed him. But that's not how I feel what he wanted. He wanted to change the whole world and bring together people on this planet like never before. He wasn't there to overthrow a government or any institution. He was over there to fulfill it. And that's what we should be doing, fulfilling this life here on this planet. All of us have a force of creation in our bodies that we should be creating a new life here.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, why don't you want to read something?
Oh, yes, I'll read it. Okay. Okay, so I read this. It's going to take about 10 or 12 minutes, and then we can all comment and hear everybody, what anybody has to say on any of these subjects.
I'm going to step off the screen so you can watch me. And read.
I'll center myself on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm really happy to have you here with me and want you to feel total freedom of your own self here tonight with me. So I woke up in the middle of the night feeling troubled. I wasn't sure why. It was February, and the wind was up, whistling in our window panes. Alana was sound asleep beside me. She's a champion sleeper. Our dogs were sleeping with us that night, and Isabella was snoring lightly. I tried to turn over and go back to sleep, but something was bothering me. I felt this heaviness inside me, like I was carrying a heavy burden and it wouldn't let me rest. I couldn't fall back to sleep, so I decided instead of trying to resist the feeling, I would go with it and see what was there for me. I'm a strong-minded person, which is a good thing if you're a longevity revolutionary trying to help bring about a massive shift in human condition. But sometimes being strong-minded can lead to overriding what's really happening with you. Maybe that's why this hit me in the middle of the night when I was sound asleep and my mind couldn't engage to try to clear it out of the way. I lay there awake for about an hour, and I suddenly would have stayed awake all night. Probably, but I realized as I lay there that something had to change in my life. I didn't know what exactly, and I didn't know how. All I knew was that the way I was living wasn't working for me anymore. That's the first step to any transformative experience, the simple admission that we need it. And I knew I needed it. This gave me the peace to go back to sleep. Next morning when I got up, and in the days that followed, the need for change in my life became clearer and clearer. It's as if I had my head down working so long and so hard on the super longevity and immortality movement that I really hadn't paid attention to what was going on inside me. People who know me know I'm a very positive person. I believe we should, and eventually all of us will, be able to live unlimited lifespans. You can't get much more optimistic than that. This energy propelled me to found People Unlimited, the most committed immortalist community in the world. This optimism also led me to create the semi-longevity event, RADFest, and to run it for a decade thus far. I've spoken in a dozen countries on 4 continents, been on TV shows you've heard of, and been quoted in the media. I've had a lot of success, and most importantly, I've had great people in my life. But I found myself feeling like the strength that I had brought me to this point wasn't going to be enough to take me where I wanted. I look at everything that impacts longevity. Many people view this challenge as a scientific one, and rightfully so. We need scientific breakthroughs to free us from the shackles of aging so we can live without the tyranny of death. But there is also tremendous emotional and psychological strength required to get where we want to go. We don't always consider that. It was 2021, and the COVID-19 pandemic had hit hard. I had lost people that were dear to me. That in itself was not something new. All along the way, I lost people. I'm sorry, that's a very emotional part for me. All along the way, I lost people I loved. And it's always been extremely painful. Death never felt right to me. It never felt like something I could just accept. I dealt with it because I had to. But everything we experience is recorded in us. And maybe it all built up in a breaking point in me because I just wasn't metabolizing those losses like I used to. It was more than just a pandemic. Bernadine was my business partner, but also my inspiration, often my guide, but always the greatest support in my life. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer about 7 years earlier. We found ways to treat her that didn't devastate her health, and she had done well. The cancer was gone for a time, but then it returned. I was confident she would beat it, but the presence of that cancer troubled me along with everything else. I love Bernie, and I hated for her to have to go through the struggle of cancer. The truth is, it's tough being a revolutionary. And while I still felt like I was answering the most noble calling there is to end involuntary aging and death, it could feel like a thankless task. Those of us that have led the charge for longevity and mortality know that we're facing resistance that is built into every fabric of our society. We faced it all along. I started speaking on this subject in the 70s, where we are now is much further along, but still, obstacles sometimes seem endless. I've seen brilliant scientists with insights that could transform our life struggle to get funding. I've seen our movement misrepresented in the media in ways that are simply unfair, like it's just a vanity project for people with too much money, when aging causes more suffering than any other factor in human experience. It's not that we haven't made strides. In 2016, my team had created RADFest, the largest super longevity event in the world. It was a huge success with over 1,000 people attending, and we've done them every year since. New collaborations have come out of it, and I know we've shared information that have saved people's lives because they've told me. We hear the stories every year. The science of longevity has advanced. We have much more available to us than we did a decade ago. Personally, I've done numerous treatments, including exosomes, stem cells, EBOO, therapeutic plasma exchange, and several others. But we have not had the significant breakthrough many have hoped would come by now. Some in our movement were giving up on this happening for our generation. I understand their concern and disappointment, but the idea of living the horror of aging for the next generation offends me to the core. Not only do I want to live myself, but I feel responsibility, which I know my colleagues share, to make the difference ourselves so the next generation can live in freedom as human beings are meant to be. But it didn't seem to be happening fast enough, and that weighed on me. In my 50 years of being a longevity warrior, I personally faced a lot of resistance from people who couldn't accept a new perspective on living, that we can have indefinite lifespans, and that is worth pursuing. Sometimes it seems that people are so programmed to die that they are going to keep that appointment with death no matter what I say or do. Working with biology in the lab is challenging, but so is working with people in real life. If you're not careful, as you try to educate them, you can take on too much responsibility for their choices. The potential for immortality should be the best news in the world, but some people just can't see it. And struggling to make them can cause them to react against you. They can turn resentful, even mean. I've confronted many people over the years. Sometimes I wanted to grab people by the shoulders and shake them and say, wake up. I felt this way because I cared. But the problem is the person I was talking to didn't always feel the same urgency. They might think I was challenging them or putting them down. In fact, it was often triggering the unconscious will to stay exactly where they were. Change is personal. There is no blueprint for opening to a new paradigm and no profile for who will or who won't do it. In all the years, I've never been able to identify what type of person is going to go with the new and what type will stay behind. Some people blame religious training for the transience of others, but I've met many atheists who are so dug into their lives as everyone else. Some people say super longevity is only for the upper class, but I've met many wealthy people who took no interest whatsoever, and just as other people with little or no money who were extremely interested. People can be exhilarating, but people can also be contradictory to the point of hypocrisy. How many people have I heard say they want a better world while they live totally contrary to what they say? They have their conversations without loving your fellow human, and when it gets tense, they go right back to the patterns that destroy themselves and others. Working with people can be thrilling when you see them transforming their lives, but it can also be exhausting. After decades of doing this, I could feel how much energy and strength it was going to take to break out of this paradigm of mortality in this world. I still felt this calling and had no desire to quit, but I couldn't keep going the same old way. I asked myself, how could I really help change the patterns that are operating inside people to take them out of this struggle? It was difficult to envision a world free of the horror and pain of the inevitability of death, to see it so clearly I could almost touch it sometimes, but also to see how far we are from it. It's not the scientific and technological challenges that bother me, but the human resistance. I was frustrated with the slow pace at which our world moves. Here's all this technology happening all the time, but where are the human advancements? How can people be accepting of their own limitation when there's clearly another way to go? The burden of it is always weighing down on me. As an immortalist, I try to see the good things in life, but the simple truth is there is too much suffering in our lives as they are currently constructed. I'd always been a strong person, someone who could handle difficult situations and get through them, but maybe now it was somehow bearing down on me. At the same time, I also felt like I wanted a deeper connection with people. We'd built a community through People Unlimited that was exceptional. We had weekly events with regular attending meetings in person. We shared a lot of love and passion for living, spoke freely about our intention to live without death and about the latest science and clinical protocols. All that was good, but something was missing. Despite all the shared purpose, somehow we hadn't reached the depth of connection which I hoped. I knew that mortality is a source of separation between people, that the inevitability of loss creates a barrier that stops us from being as close as we could be. So this was a conundrum, because there are many of us sincerely loved each other. We didn't really feel the freedom to connect at that deeper level. And frankly, I didn't always know how to get through to people. Sometimes I ended up raising their anxieties instead of relieving them. The songs say, love is the answer, but love has been around for a long time, and it really hasn't solved anything. Don't get me wrong, I think love is beautiful. I love it. But under the pressures and struggles of mortality, love has never really had the full opportunity to flourish. We love and we lose, and this is the source of great anguish and separation. It's a chicken and egg scenario. Which comes first? The profound connection of the immortality, the absence of one was holding up the advent of the other, and I had an innate sense there had to be a way out of this puzzle, that we could create a connection that was so powerful, you might say it was divine, a bond between people that could literally save lives. I always wanted a deeper connection with myself. I wanted to know who I really was underneath all these experiences. That might seem strange, coming from someone who has been alive for 77 years. We're supposed to be putting our affairs in order and preparing to die. But I don't live my life according to the number of years I've been here. If a person is in their 20s talked about wanting to expand their lives, it would be different. We are born into a world designed by evolution for the survival of the species, not the thriving of the individual. You could say the life we are born into isn't designed for us to live our full potential for energy, joy, health, and abundance. On the contrary, it's designed to bring us to the age of reproduction and parenthood. How do we embrace a higher life of love and abundance when we are set up for sacrifice, not just by society's expectations for the roles we are supposed to play, but by the biology itself? If sacrifice is the basis of our life, how do we make the most of even the limited lifespan we've got? I don't believe we can. The good news is there's another life we can live that is not derived from evolution and fueled by sacrifice and death. It is the life Jesus was speaking about, and which he manifested physically by going there and speaking about it to others. He imprinted it in us, which brings me back to Jesus and Nicodemus. Nicodemus wanted to know how Jesus does the miraculous. Jesus tells him to see the kingdom. He needs to be born again. In the story, I saw that we are not going to be able to think our way out of the survival program. I realized I was myself experiencing being born again. I could see that it wasn't a rebirth into a religious ideology or identification. This was something much more personal than that. I was being reborn out of the program of survival. I was conceived by my parents and by my upbringing into a life that was also inside me. The life Jesus himself had, chosen, and articulated. There was a lot of techniques out there for letting go of stress and trauma. My experience is they're good to an extent, but ultimately they're just coping mechanisms. Could it really be that easy? I have a lot of compassion for people trying to free themselves from what torments them. They try to self-help approaches, religion, conversations, psychotropic drugs, and many other things. It's called working on yourself. We've carried a struggle into every area of living, including how we let go of struggle. We make a struggle out of that too. But this reborn experience is different. This is an inheritance, something that's already in your body. All you have to do is receive it. In fact, the less you work at it, the better. The phrase "no pain, no gain" does not apply. This is yours. Your immortal lineage is hardwired into you right along with the program of struggle and survival. There is no struggle in this program and no limitation. You're not a small part of something bigger than you, like in evolution. On the contrary, you're the whole of everything. No more wearing out your body to achieve your goals. No more choosing between prosperity and health, as many do. No more martyrdom to bringing about a better world. Because the best world you can bring about in the world of limited life is your own inheritance. Thank you. That's a lot. Okay.
Good job.
Thank you, Joe. That's quite a chapter.
All right. So let you catch your breath for a second here. And let's
I felt a lot of emotions reading that.
Yeah, I felt a lot of emotion with your emotion.
Yeah.
But let's open it up, shall we?
Let's do it.
Who would like to comment on this? As I said, we really want to answer questions for you about the book, and we want to help you understand really the subject and direction of the book. You're not in the picture, so
there we go.
Oh,
there we go, Joe. Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So what does anybody at all have any comments they'd like to?
If you'll raise your virtual hand, your Zoom hand, we'll
some of you have read the book. Some of you, I think a lot of you have read the book. So
if not, we'll just call on some of you.
Bill Andrews, you want to say something?
Wait, we need to unmute you, or you need to unmute or something.
There
you go, Bill.
I don't really have any comment about what you just read in that chapter. I remember it was something like chapter 3. I did read the whole book word for word. I even read some of it over and over again, trying to really understand it. And I can only say that I did relate to a lot of it. I was just amazed at how many your thoughts about the way people should live and things like that were exactly the way I think and stuff. And the way of dealing with people that are negative to you and things like that are exactly the way. I've always said to myself, ignore the critics. Don't pay any attention to them. Things like that. The things I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now because I didn't make a list of things to comment on. I didn't think
No,
you
it's
were.
okay. That's okay, though.
But but that's pretty. I could not put the book down. I read the whole thing, which I'm not a reader. I rarely read books. So, there's, okay. So now that I've said what I said, there is a lot of things that I want to talk to you about after reading this book, but I don't want to do it here. Okay.
Okay.
But so sometime I hope to have a sit down conversation with you about
That'd be great.
some of
That'd
the
be great.
eye opener things that I was, impressed with.
Yeah.
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 Super.
Well, just like reading this, thank you, Bill. And just like reading this chapter, it's so dense with information. I found myself, after feeling so much emotions around, Bernie and what was going on as I was reading this, I think kind of going through it maybe a little bit too fast because I felt like I was wanting to, get through it to be able to get into this discussion. So I hope everybody could understand the depth of what was being said in it.
You took your mic off because it's on your jacket.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I had to take my jacket off.
So while I'm still unmuted, I want to hear Mike Rose and Greta Blackburn's comments.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Go ahead, Greta.
Yeah, you really want to hear my comments, Bill. Forget Rose. Here's what I'm going to say from the get-go, and I have one very specific question about a specific thing you mentioned here, so don't let me forget to do that. I'm going to say that this expectation that the gospel of longevity is going to turn people off is maybe not 100% right. First of all, we all know the word gospel isn't always religious. It means the good word or whatever. It's a generic
good news.
word. It doesn't have to be religious. So I think that once you begin this conversation, people are going to be so pissed off. Actually, I think that people that will be the most pissed off are the really hardcore Jesus freaks who are going to go, no, no. I would anticipate that being a bigger problem. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't expect that to be such a problem. And I don't even know why I'm saying that. I'm just saying it. But because that's what I do, I babble. But I have a very specific question for you. And I got to just find the passage. Because I'm just curious about something you said here. Anyway, I'll find it and I'll chime in later. But that's my bigger global thing. First of all, hats off for doing this because it's exposing yourself emotionally in a way that people don't always like to do, and that's always a great contribution. And it's kind of giving the go ahead to people to go, hey, it's okay to talk about grief and sadness, and it was all screwed up during COVID and all that stuff. So hats off on that, and just in general. And okay, so here's one question. So is that you on the cover?
It's a silhouette of it's a artist rendering of me. Yes, that was it's not. Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I know it is, but somehow they really nailed it because there's no question that it's not you and it is you. So
yeah.
I love the book cover. It's really
great.
Thank you. The title is great. And that's just off the top of my head. And I'm going to find that one. Well, I'll tell you what it was. You said, here's what I do. And I find that if I stand on one leg and I do my balance and also spinning is good for you. And I'm thinking, does he mean like on a bike, like spinning? Or are you talking about like spinning around like a circus clown? I just wanted to clarify, like, what spinning are you talking about?
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Well, there is a diagram there that it's about spinning.
She's talking about, there's a whole chapter. I just want people to know, because the context of this is a whole chapter where you do talk about all kinds of sort of longevity exercises and treatments
that I do
and hacks that you do. And that's what Greta's referring to.
Yeah. So I'm talking about standing still and spinning up to 12 times to 21 times one way and then spinning the other way. Yes. And you build up to that, of course. And there's a little diagram in that. But that's a good question. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. Clarification. Duly noted.
Well, for you, Greta, while brushing your teeth.
Yes, by brushing your teeth, Greta.
So,
and always only on one foot. And in the case of Sarah Goldenberg, on a Bosu ball.
There you go. Michael's got himself unmuted, or someone.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
So am I audible?
Yes, we
Yes,
hear you.
very good.
Wonderful. So firstly, I'd like to say, Jim, you're reminding me more and more of David Bowie every year.
People tell me that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And Greta is totally rocking her locks. I think we all have to say.
Yeah.
Um, I love the book. It was very moving. It called me back to a meeting we had in San Diego, you and I, together, shortly
Yes.
after you had your moment of revelation, as I call it. And that was also for me the start of a journey because um, I've, I don't tell people about this, but uh, since about 1977, I've worked on human evolution and the evolution of God and what that means. And since mid 1990s, I've worked on immortality. And that conversation with you, Jim, brought those two
Yes.
things together for me. And that was a very powerful connection.
Yeah.
And I love your book because it reinforces that connection for me.
Exactly.
And I think even for people who haven't been living with all of this for 50 years or more, the way you and I have, um, I think it will reach out to them and call to them. And I want to make a connection, which may not be familiar to many people on this call, but you have recast Jesus of Nazareth into a similar person to the Buddha of Hinayana Buddhism. That's the version of Buddhism where Buddha is not a god,
Mm. Yeah.
but Buddha is an inspiration. And a lot of your messages in this book are very resonant with a Buddhist perspective.
We've heard people say
Which,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you should put out an edition in Asia, which maybe you and Joe can work on this, that calls out the connection also to Buddha, because those are two of the great inspirational figures in the what historians call the axial age of tremendous, what religious people would call the religious resurgence. In many ways, the birth ground of several modern religions, modern meaning that they survive to this day. And I think what you're getting at in your book is a lot of what overlaps between the historical Jesus and the historical Buddha. And I think it is, I don't mean this lightly, potentially of world-changing significance because of the way it's going to the ground or the depth or the foundation of what uh, religions tend to exploit uh, more often than they embody, more often than they evoke. And it could be a part of what I hope will be uh, human, a global renaissance that I'm hoping comes out of our global travail.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
That's right.
We've all been going through, not just since COVID, but really since the financial crisis, we've been going through about 20 years of
Sure.
crisis in which so many of us have been profoundly unsettled, which in your case clearly was a good and creative thing. And I'm hopeful that the world will get onto a new trajectory. Obviously, like you, I hope that it will be a trajectory in which, immortality will be one of the highest values.
Yeah.
as opposed to sacrifice, as opposed to, frankly, deathism, which is the tragic turn that conventional religions tend to take, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the way you made the great point that it wasn't the crucifixion of Jesus, which was the more important part, it was the actual life and, of course, the teachings.
Yes, exactly.
Which I believe you beautifully argued were misappropriated in a religious context. And, because I, like many of the people on this call, was brought up as a Christian and always emotionally felt that there was something in that figure that was extremely special and resonant. But of course, the religious accretions, the religious appropriation of that life, I certainly couldn't subscribe to.
Yeah.
Just like in the last 10 days, somebody asked me if I was Christian. And I said, well, maybe not the way you would understand it, but maybe the way that that man himself and his apostles might have understood it.
Wow. Wow. Well said.
Which I think you are doing a fantastic job of evoking. This alternative interpretation and a different interpretation of what to be son of God means.
Right.
And in my very few publications on my work on God, one of which, by the way, is called God's Inside. I have, had an intellectual analysis and view that is very compatible with what you have written. But I'll conclude with this. Because of my, psychological afflictions, I, of course, tend to view things from the eyes of science. Which I've talked a lot about with Joe and sometimes with you too, Jim. But you have gone to the soul, as I would interpret it, and your phrase "soul of the body" is an interesting one, and done a lot for me ever since that first conversation, and now with this book to reassemble my life and put it back together in a way that reduces the amount of, clash or dissonance between my scientific beliefs and how I live my life. So it's a gospel for how you embrace life.
Yeah.
Fundamentally. And I was saying to Leslie, my Leslie, not Joe's, that it's a great lesson in getting over yourself and embracing the positive.
Exactly.
And from embracing the true positivity of life, which, by the way, if I have any disagreement with you, I think evolution is pro-immortality. I think evolution doesn't make any sense without immortality.
I like that.
Otherwise,
I like that. I like that.
I love that.
I guess I have to change that now in the book.
That's a book.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to work on that book with either one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you is, of course, my reaction to having read the book over the last 3 days. Above all, thank you. And I hope that your profoundly emotional, spiritual, deeply felt message can foster a transformation in how we all experience life. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Well said. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Let's hear from Danny.
Danny, go ahead, Danny.
Rodas. There he is.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good,
Hey,
Danny. So good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Let me turn my video on. There
there
we
you
go.
are.
Well, first of all and foremost, congratulations on an amazing book.
Thank you.
And I think I am the one who everybody's speaking about Christians, because I am a Christian.
I
So
know, Danny.
Love that.
All I
I'm
know is
not
you,
ashamed.
Danny.
I'm not ashamed to say it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Great. None of us should be ashamed of anything we feel or who
No,
we are.
sir.
That is
So
right.
let me say this. Page 31, third paragraph. It says, I couldn't inspire people enough or teach them enough to move them out of this battlefield.
Yeah.
If there is
Yeah.
one thing that has caught my attention from day one since I met you, James, and the rest of Unlimited people,
Yeah.
is the sincerity of your heart,
Yeah.
Joe's sincerity,
Mhm.
that transparency of how you guys speak.
Yeah.
I will agree there is a lot of controversial issues on the book,
Yeah.
but they're right on.
Mm.
I am not gonna argue any of them. In the contrary,
Wow.
every time the name of Jesus is mentioned, his name is by revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the revelation that you have received, as you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting,
Yeah.
it's yours. Embrace
Yeah.
it. Live
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I have my own revelation as well, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's why
That's
we
great.
have peace. And that's why we have peace in our hearts, because we're doing something that it was revealed to us.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish that many people will have encounters such as the one that you had when you started watching the show Chosen, the movie Chosen. I have my own revelation as well. I'm sure that Joe had one as well. Our prayers are that everyone else will have their own revelation, that they have an encounter with this amazing man, Jesus. The Bible says that as when you mention his name, every knee shall bow.
Every tongue confess.
That he is the Son of God. So you're doing that. And with this book on hand, I have a lot of high notes. I took a lot of notes. I have a lot of notes. But all I can say, James, you're doing something that other people only wanted it to do.
Mm.
An intent without an action is just an intent. You actually
Yeah.
did it. So congratulations. It's an amazing book. And if it is confronting anyone with anything, then you did your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Thank you, Danny.
congratulations. Continue doing what you're doing. Joe as well. Everyone. That I believe that the rest is in God's hands. He will do his job.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. So for those who don't know, Danny is a pastor, a very progressive pastor in a very progressive church here in town.
Signs and Wonders.
Signs and Wonders is called. And he's an amazing human being. I've been to his church. He's come to my events. We've had a great communion of our bodies together, great communication. And this is to me so important for all of us to not separate ourselves from anybody that has something they can really offer to the feeding of this soul movement of this life, because too often we make judgments about, well, this person is this or this person is that, and I think it's limited us some in the longevity movement that we need to embrace everyone that has a inclination for a new life. And even though many come from different directions, but that's what this movement and my person is about now. I was guilty many times before this of having judgments about different situations and religious concepts and so forth. Now it's like, I think Michael said it well, that our whole evolving of our lives is towards immortality, and we don't know where it's going to come from sometimes, the touch that we need or the sound that we need to inspire us forward and to move us forward. But for sure, all of us as human beings need to come together and share really in the expansion of this new life. And that's what I'm excited about too, this feeling. And so Danny, I'm grateful for what I feel for you and for you coming on here and just, being the bold person you are and being able to express where you're at in this and be embraced for it, because I love you and you deserve the love of every human being. All of us do. And that's what really Jesus was about.
The few times that we met together, James, and we started speaking about Jesus, the emotion, the spiritual emotions that we get.
Yes.
It's because we're speaking about something that is alive.
Yes, that's right.
And I am proud to call you my friends.
Thank you.
Guys. I'm proud to call unlimited people my friends. And I believe that you cannot speak about Jesus and not speak about his love.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We're gonna express Jesus' loves in many different ways. And if this is one of them, hey, let's go for it.
That's right. That's right.
Let it be a revelation to your life. If it's gonna change you, do it.
Yes, that's right.
So, thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, who else? We got some comments in the chat room, Joe? Or
there's some comments. Oh, here's a question. Oscar asks, I think that K is silent, Napic.
Yeah.
Why not gospel of immortality? Why gospel of longevity? Why not gospel of immortality?
Well, I wanted to embrace the whole community, okay? Because there's some people, that's a good question. Thank you for that. There's some people who want to live forever. There's other people who just want to extend their lives to a certain, 120, 150. I wanted to know everybody. This is for everybody. No matter what your goal, what your goal is in living. And even anybody that maybe feels like they don't want to right now live any longer, much longer, because you get people sometimes saying they're ready to, get off this planet. They're tired of it. They're worn out. It's for them too, to quicken them, to stir them, that there's new possibilities for them. And so I want to use a broader statement in that. For me, I'm an immortalist. I want to be here forever. I don't see dying. But again, it's important that we don't have a prejudice against what anybody else wants to, how long anybody wants to live. I had a person tell me one time they want to live 120 way back. This was before I had this reborn experience. I argued with him. I said, well, why do you want to just live for 120? If you have 120, you can keep on going if you get that far, or 130. And so I find myself debating these situations. And now I'm just encouraging everybody to live as long and with much vitality as they can. Yeah. We want to set the table full. Let there be a feast and let people pick what they want. I'm not about to control it anymore. I'm done with controlling things at any level. This is a freedom of picking what really is for you and what you want to partake of, and then taking that and making the best of it.
Interestingly, many people don't make a big distinction between longevity and immortality as much as we do, who are more privy to all these arguments and feeling. A lot of people, even though we talk about immortality at RADFest and no other longevity conference, they call it longevity.
Exactly. Well, it's like anything else, right? If you're a Catholic, you argue with a Baptist. If
exactly.
Exactly.
It's like a denominational thing.
You're all serving the same God supposedly, but you're arguing, so it's a constant thing.
Right.
So I'm just out to say, hey, any glimpse of life looks good to me.
Right. So here's a question from Radu McPhee. Hi, Radu. He says, I love the book, The Gospel of Longevity. My question is to James Strole. Can we expect a second book?
Oh, well, I think so, because already after that book, we're already coming out with new thoughts and new ideas. That's what happens. This is an endless conversation. It's an endless upheaval of new life in our bodies. When the veil is lifted, and that's what happened to me. The veil was lifted from my own body to be able to really see my own life and to get to really see, in my perspective, what Jesus was really about and what I felt for him. And so now there's so much more. I mean, in our events with People Unlimited, we're continuously bringing out more all the time. So yes, there will most likely be continuous books on that level but what's happening more important than anything is the book of life that's in our bodies, is the word of life that's coming out of us, that you can't even write it down fast enough because it's just flowing out of all of our bodies now. And we're eating of that bread of life. And that's what's important. We're not just eating anymore of dead words.
Or just information.
Or just information where we get so clogged up in our brains that we can't even feel sometimes. So now when the soul is awakened, it awakens the whole body. And that's where I come from with the soul. That Jesus, said when Nicodemus asked him, how do I get into the kingdom? He said, you have to be reborn. And that's through the soul, where the soul then, which is immortal, quickens the mortal body and becomes one body, soul and body together, no separation. And so, and then out of that comes an endless flood, an endless floodgate. The floodgates open up and endless words of life come forward to each other. You can't get them down fast enough.
Yeah. And, so, when it's said, like, you don't live, man doesn't live by bread alone.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that speaks to the soul, and we shouldn't be uncomfortable talking about the soul. It's a function and dynamics of us.
No, we're not uncomfortable talking about science. I love science.
Right.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to support the science that's happening.
Right.
But also we've been, like you say, we shouldn't be uncomfortable to talk about our soul, our bodies.
Right.
Because this is what it's all about in living, and to begin to experience that strength in our bodies to actually help create then this world we're all talking about, and get the death program out of our bodies consequently. Because when that happens, the death program passes away. You don't have to struggle with it. That's what I'm talking about. It passes out of you because this awakening consumes it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to say, I don't believe that life without soul is sustainable.
No.
Because it
really isn't.
That phrase, you can't live by bread alone.
No.
You can't just live by brain alone.
Well, it's like Kurzweil said the other day when we were talking to his digital twin. It was really funny. He said, when you asked him what's the biggest challenge, because he was talking about singularity and it's coming, 2030, right?
Yeah.
And he said, but you said, what's the greatest challenge? He said, well, the biggest challenge is psychological.
Yeah.
Will people really be able to adjust to this big change? But this is the adjustment.
Right.
This is aligning ourselves with our path and our mission.
Yeah.
Without that, any doctor you go to will say, if you take a supplement or his treatment and you're mentally aligned for it, emotionally aligned for it, it's going to work better.
Right.
Why do we think, this science, everything we're doing, we can't just be biohacking all of ourselves all the time and still have this program of death operating in us.
And living, just to clarify, living emotionally and psychologically kind of in the box.
Exactly.
And the whole time we're doing all these hacks to get out of the box.
Yes.
But the way our nervous system is programmed is rigid.
Yeah. So this is such a wonderful conversation. I want to have this more with all of you who are willing. We can just have these sessions at different times. Come on, invite anybody you want. You're in the comfort of your home, and everyone will feel freer all the time to say what they feel. And there's no right or wrong. We're exploring this new life together, and what we need to sustain it, what we need to really feel our spirit quickened, and to feel the depth of what this life is really about. And inspire each other.
And this is really what we talk about at People Unlimited. There's
Yes.
ongoing exploration of this, but you should read the book first. No, you should.
You should.
You should.
Yeah.
And really, this is a lot of people kind of drop into People Unlimited, and that's great. We welcome that, but you should read the book first. Really,
because
it'll give you context.
Good point. Well, they drop in, they feel the energy, they like it,
but they can't.
Okay,
they can't
but then they can't. Yes.
Yeah.
So because this conversation is so advanced.
Yeah.
What we're doing. So that's what we tell them to read the books, and then those who do can get more of a grasp. Then.
Yeah, and I agree with Greta. I think Gospel of Longevity is a subject that will appeal. It does appeal to many, many people, and it already is.
Yeah, that's why we picked it.
We just like to talk about the controversy for that angle of it.
Well, I wanted to bring in both the secular and the religious movement. I wanted the religious people not to feel alienated, because this is really about the fulfillment. No one's bad. It's not about being bad or good or wrong or right. It's about a fulfillment. I think I can understand. I feel like things were missed back with Jesus, and he was misunderstood in areas. We know that. Everyone can admit that. I think that he was misunderstood. His disciples misunderstood him. And so, but that was because of the strong indoctrination at that time. And also we're facing that now. So we have to be forgiving with each other and patient about new moves that we make and new things that we bring out. because the indoctrinations, the programs are so strong that we've been born into. So this quickening, this new life can shift us, and we need shifts in our bodies because otherwise we're waiting. It's too slow. Otherwise, to try to unwind it all. It's like
it's really hard to extend life when you're not loving life.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know, yeah, hating death is part of it, but
or you're struggling in survival.
That's why, because
That's the key.
you can't love a life that's just a
Yeah.
life of when you're struggling with
Yeah,
survival.
yeah. Even if you love life, but you're still struggling with survival, that's the key.
Yeah,
So, okay, who else?
I saw Claudia had her hand up a moment ago. Maybe
Claudia?
she kind of clicked out. I don't know if she had to go somewhere, but Claudia, if you're there, we want to hear from you. There you are. There you are. Oh, you unmuted and then remuted. There you are.
Well, you just answered my question because I'm reading. Well, first of all, I want to thank Dr. Andrews and Dr. Michael Rose and Greta and Danny for your participation. You always bring something wonderful to our life with your intervention. And thank you for the opportunity, James. I'm reading in the comments, the problem that many people have in this longevity space is how slow it's going. I think we are going to see real paradigm shift once the winner of the Longevity X Prize is announced in 2030. So can you explain or elaborate or talk about how is resilience related with this gospel of longevity, the resilience that we need to live for the gospel of longevity? And the other question that I have is, so reading your book, what I feel is more like an unfolding, a discovery that something that you already are, instead of a practice, if you can talk about that.
Okay, so I think your first question, if I heard you right, was how does resilience play a part? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's, reading the comment, how is resilience?
How does this give you resilience?
Yes. Okay. So what it did for me and what it does for anybody that I see this has this experience. And when I say experience, I mean, it's the reborn experience that I go and elaborate on in the book. Okay. Where you were born into a world of survival. All right. And it's all about survival of the species. It's not. And then, we have an opportunity though to be, like Jesus said, be reborn into a world now that isn't about survival. So when that happens, okay, the weights, the frustrations, the weights, the trauma, all the frustration, the burdens that we've carried through this time, we don't realize how much these burdens have suppressed our immune system. So I'm speaking on a longevity level here, okay? Not, like I've said, not a religious level. I'm speaking about longevity, that it weighs upon us, this survival. And we don't even realize it sometimes, how much it weighs up on us. And that's what I came in contact with my own self and wanted to change from. So when I had this experience, all that weight went off of me, all that frustration, all the struggle of trying to even change the world per se from that survival place. I'm not going to change this world. None of us are. We have to have a new world. Out of that world is a new world. So we're in the world, but not of it. And then we're having, we've alleviated this weight of survival on our shoulders. And that's what I'm experiencing. And out of that, there's new resilience and strength comes forth. When you alleviate all this stress on our bodies, new strength comes forth. This stress, no matter how strong you are, it's weighing down on you, and it's a big factor. And so that's what happened to me. And that's what happened to other people around me that I see when they experience this. And that's why I want to impart this more to the world and have this conversation deeper.
And I would say, like, how well can our nervous systems really, how well can our immune system function? How well can our nervous system really function when we are in kind of a continuous survival anxiety?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think it's totally, for the most part, very, very unfunctional for the most part.
Right.
Yeah, just imagine if and this is what's happening now, too many, that we drop all these worries, these struggles that we're in that weigh us down every day.
Yeah.
Now I'm moving to create a lighter life all the time for myself. And it's happened spontaneously for me. And when I mean lighter, I'm not carrying the burdens of people anymore in situations. I still feel, and I feel a deeper passion then in my own body, for people and for myself. So yes, it really, I feel a stronger immune system. I feel better than I ever have.
Yeah. As far as like the big breakthrough in longevity that people are waiting for, there's a lot of untapped capacity for longevity.
Yes.
In our bodies.
Yes.
Already, but not within the old model.
That's right.
And so that in itself constitutes a major breakthrough.
That's right.
Yes, we are looking towards science, and we're looking towards great people like Bill Andrews and Michael Rose and others to continue to develop their approaches. But also, this is a theme we've heard a lot about, which is like the thing didn't happen. Like the thing we thought would happen didn't happen. And it's very deflating.
Yeah.
And it's very discouraging to live that way.
That's right.
I would say that's not a sustainable way to live.
No.
It's
called the Messiah syndrome. So we're always waiting for something down the line. And these things are going to happen. We're going to create more. But the reality is they've been happening too slow. And by right now, what I've experienced in embracing our I'll say immortality right now, our soul, our bodies right now, we're going to open up doors like we've never opened up before. We're going to contribute to a process of I'll say a more expedient process that's going to create, because now we're going to get into the era of creation rather than the era of waiting for somebody else to create something for us and that be the answer. And there's going to be more, in talking to Ray Kurzweil again, I mean, he's so optimistic about all the things that are coming, and it's exciting. But we need to be prepared for it, and we need to be living right now, not waiting for life to come to us, but we need to live fully right now, and that's what this is about.
And speaking of Ray, I mean, a lot of people mocked him.
Yes.
When he said something along the lines that AI will be in everybody's life, and I think he said that like 5 years ago or 7 years ago, 8 years ago. He said, AI will be a regular component of everybody's life.
Yeah.
And people said, oh, the AI is nowhere near that, and then ChatGPT broke through whenever that was, a year ago, or I can't remember. And here we are.
Here we are.
Right. So we really don't know what's around the corner for us.
Exactly.
But we know we want to be there.
That's right. Who else? We have about 10 more minutes left. Anybody else at all? Okay.
Well, great.
I think,
yeah. So, you can. I'm making a pitch for the book. I'm selling books here. Right? You can get the book on online, Amazon, really basically anywhere books are sold. And please buy it. And if you love it, give it a 5-star review. And thank you for being on. We love having this
thank you very much. I feel blessed to have this time with you. You're all amazing human beings. And feel free to contact us anytime, ask any other questions about the book when you get it. Your comments are always welcome. And we'll do more of these online programs and let you know about them so we can go further and deeper with each other. And all the answers now are in us. It's amazing what we can bring out in our bodies with each other. And it's a